In this video, we're going to create our first complex post. Normally, you should never go overboard with the use of fancy formatting in images, simply because it can create clutter if used too much. We're going to use as many of the available options as possible to show you how they work. However, this is just an example test post, and I want to show you as much of the editor's capabilities as possible. I am going to attempt to make it a viewable post though. It should be fairly clear by now that we're working on a gardening blog, so we'll continue with that theme. Let's assume that we're writing a post about backyard or urban gardening. I'm not going to bore you with actually creating a post, so we'll just paste some lorem ipsum text. If you don't know what lorem ipsum text is, it's a series of text used by typographers to see all the letters of a typeface together. It looks like Latin, but it's not. It's simply a mishmash of letters. However, it gives us some starting content with which to align our media, set text formatting, and all the other important things we're going to do. Now we've got the body of our text. Let's assume that while we're writing this, we were inspired by Thomas Fuller and want to quote his wisdom. We'll do this with a block quote. See, it indents our quote and italicizes it for us. We'll also want to add an image near the beginning of our post. It creates interest and provides context. Click Add Media, and we'll select this image I've already added to our library. We want to make sure this image is aligned to the left because it will draw the reader's eye to the beginning of the text. It will also wrap the text around the image. Let's also say that we've got several sections of text in our post that we want to separate with headers. Let's assume that it starts with the third paragraph. And we'll talk about raised gardens. And we'll use the heading 2 format. We want the raised gardens header to stick out a little more, so we'll make it bold and underlined. We'll talk about that for 2 more paragraphs, and then we'll start talking about recycling trash by using it in our garden, commonly known as upcycling. But we know that not everyone may be familiar with the term upcycling. Something like that should be illustrated. Let's add another photo. This one is going to be aligned right to offset the previous left aligned photo. Again, we'll add the title, alt text, and caption, and we'll insert it into our post. Now we're feeling a bit festive. We feel like certain phrases that are buzzworthy or of particular note should stand out a bit. We'll say this phrase. We want to make it green because that's what we're doing. We're trying to be green. We'll click the Select Color Text button and we'll select green. This is also a good phrase. We'll select it and highlight it with yellow. And what post is good without links to other pages? Specifically our own. Let's add some links. For the sake of the post, we'll just link this one to Google. We'll put in the URL and set the title. And we want it to open in a new window or tab. The next link is down here. But for this link, we want to link to our own content. So we will make sure that the or link to existing content box is showing. And we'll link to our arugula post and click Add Link. Now we've got a couple links. That's going to be it for the content of our post. You should experiment with all the other options available to you to see what capabilities you have at your fingertips, but these are by far the most commonly used ones. Now, let's assume this is Saturday and we're writing a large amount of posts to be published throughout the week. We'll change the publishing date to, let's say, May 31st at 8 a.m. This post will now stay in our dashboard, but it will not be published until the date and time we set. We also need to assign some categories and tags. We'll assign vegetables and even add a techniques category and add it to that. And for tags, we'll add urban, raised, small scale. We'll add a featured image just so you can see the effect, but it wouldn't be needed or even advisable for this post. Using the featured image is an uncommonly used feature, but it can add some flair to an otherwise boring looking post. And there we go, that's our first complex post. We've used several formatting and media options we have available to us, and we've made a nice looking post. In the next chapter, we'll start looking at pages.